Guys, NHL Faceoff time. You know the drill. DFS and Sportsbook preview of tonight's slate. So who is a skater that you're looking at that you just want to pay up for, Paul?
There's four guys that I'm looking at. One is a tandem that we'll look at first. Calgary's Johnny Gaudreau and Matthew Tkachuk. They've been lighting it up for months. Hottest line in hockey all year long, and they've got a great matchup against Chicago. Gaudreau comes in at $7,800, Tkachuk $7,300. These are guys that have combined for 29 scoring points in the last 10 games played, along with 61 shots on goal. That's a lot of activity. It's no wonder they're both averaging well over 15 points in DK play on a nightly basis in DFS. And if you're looking for anything but Calgary, I look at Jack Eichel. He's leading a desperate Las Vegas squad that has Mark Stone back in the lineup. That should juice things offensively. Eichel has been trying to carry the load. He's got 7 goals in his last 10 games played. I like the fact that he's got 46 shots on goal in the last 10 as well. And then finally, Elias Pettersson continues to be disrespected, I say, in terms of the look that he's getting around the league. And he's still pouring in way better than a point per game over the last 2 months, getting 32 shots on goal in his last 10 games played, comes in cheaper than these 3 other guys, and is a must play against Dallas tonight.
All right, Geoff, what do you think when you're looking at the slate, skater that you really want to pay up for?
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine just paying up for Nathan MacKinnon tonight. I mean, 15 points in his last 10 games, but 9 of those have been goals. The shooting percentage is through the roof right now. And I mean, you just look at what Colorado is doing, putting up averaging over 5 goals over the last 5 games. They got almost a 4-point implied goal total against the Washington Capitals. I think it's fine to start with MacKinnon, but you do have options. Like Paul has listed most of them. If you're not going to start with MacKinnon at center, Aho and Jack Eichel, like being under 8K is a fine. You could probably even pay up for both those guys if you skip on MacKinnon. So, if you can get up there, MacKinnon has to be the top option tonight, but Aho and Eichel right behind him and certainly good value at under 8K.
All right. How about the best value on the slate here, Geoff, if you're going to pay up for somebody?
Yeah, and I mean, I'll stick with the Colorado Avalanche here because Artturi Lehkonen, I think, is a great value at 3,500. I mean, this is a player who obviously, coming over from at the trade deadline, but he's playing in a top 6 role. He's now getting top power play minutes as well. He's had double-digit DK fantasy points in 3 of his last 4 games, and he's just getting opportunity. He's on a great team. And, he's only 3,500. So there's really nothing to dislike about Artturi Lehkonen right now. I think that if you're looking for, upside options, though, there are a lot of other, sort of like boomer bust players we can target on this slate. Tyler Toffoli is interesting. The Calgary Flames have a 4.3 implied goal total on the road against Chicago. So Toffoli has been a little bit cold of late. But again, like this is just a player who, if he shows up, he's probably going to show up for like a goal and 5 shots on net. So I think Toffoli at 4,300, a very good boomer bust option. And the Flames offense is something you should be looking at tonight with that big of an implied team total.
All right, Paul, what do you think? Where do you find a value on this slate?
Look, Colorado's pouring it on. Geoff mentioned it. I like Andrei Burakovsky in that lineup, also getting top 6 minutes. He's been on an extended heater with 12 points in his last 10 games played, getting top 6 minutes, averaging 12 DK points per night. I mentioned Mark Stone's back in the lineup for Vegas, and he's only priced at $4,600. You won't see that when this guy gets rolling. So get on that train now when they need him the most. They got a very favorable matchup against New Jersey. And finally, Tim Stützle of Ottawa gets the easy matchup in Seattle for an Ottawa team that's really been upping their game. And Stützle's been in the center of the attack with 9 points in his last 10 starts and 28 shots, averaging 16 DK points per game in that last 10-game stretch.
All right, Paul, let's move on over to the DK Sportsbook. What's your favorite puck line or money line bet here?
I'm gonna give it one of each, Jesse. I look at Colorado and Washington. The Avs, I'll take them -1.5 for that 120 payoff. I think they just got way too much offense and speed for Washington, a team that's getting a little bit long in the tooth, and it's starting to show for my money. And speaking of money, I'm looking at the money line, taking Ottawa -105 against Seattle. That's a mismatch waiting to happen. I think could be a big night for the Senators.
All right, Geoff, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly taken a look at the Senators as well. Wish they were plus money, but even at -105, they're slight underdogs. So I really don't mind that. There's really no sort of big underdog that I want to take a shot with. I think if you're going to look for bigger odds, you have to go to the puck line. And Vegas at -1.5, I'll take the -135. I think if you can get an alternate puck line total as well, I'm not sure if they're out on the DK Sportsbook yet, but they likely will be at some point. Look, Vegas in their last 5 games, they've won 3 of them by 4 or more goals. So they've really just been winning by big margins, or it's been like some kind of close game where they're maybe losing in overtime or something. But Vegas has been blowing out a lot of teams. They've been blowing out good teams. Now they're in a must-win situation. All their stars are back. It's the New Jersey Devils coming on the road. I think you take the puck line is absolutely fine at minus 135 in this spot, but you can get bigger odds by going to like minus 2.5 as well. So my favorite bet tonight, let's just ride the Golden Knights. I think they at least show up in this spot. Not sure if they're going to get in, have enough juice to do that, but I think Vegas tonight makes for a very good puck line bet.
All right, Geoff, how about your favorite game total over or under? The Stars and Canucks total is the lowest on the slate at 5.5.
Yeah, I actually don't mind taking the under there at plus 100. I think one thing that you have to note going into the end of the year, there's just a lot of teams that are, we're almost in playoff season here, and that generally means tighter hockey. We also have a lot of teams just playing out the string. My favorite under play isn't actually Dallas and Vancouver. It's Ottawa and Seattle at minus 115. I really don't mind those odds at all. These are 2 teams who average under 2.8 goals per game. And I mean, we have a 6 goal total here. This just looks like 0.5 too big. You look at some of the trends as well. In the Ottawa games, only 2 of them have seen more than 6 goals over their last 11 starts. So the trends for Seattle basically similar. You've just got 2 lower scoring teams, 2 offenses that really don't scare us at all. They've also got a pretty good goaltender on the Ottawa side, and Anton Forsberg, who's got a .925 save percentage on the road this year. This could easily be like a 3-1, 4-1 Senators victory. I really like the under in that Ottawa-Seattle game.
All right, Paul, what about you? What's your favorite game total over or under on the slate?
Jesse, the theme this season in the NHL is more scoring. We're seeing it. It's not slowing down as we get near the end of the schedule. And so I'm looking at a couple of mismatches to fuel that tonight. We already touched on New Jersey at Vegas. The line is set at 6.5. I say it's going to go well over that. Vegas could get 5 or 6 by themselves. And I trust the New Jersey Stars to fill in the gap there to put payoff there. And then I look at the over for Carolina at Arizona. I think Carolina is going to get 6 by themselves in that mismatch. And finally, Dallas and Vancouver, I'll go to the other side. I think there's going to be more than 5.5 goals scored in that one. I trust the Vancouver offense. Their stars are firing on all cylinders. And I think Dallas has got enough offense on their top line alone to help me get over that mark as well. So I'm going to go over in 3 of them.
All right, Paul, before we let you go, favorite goal prop. So who scores one tonight?
Well, I touched on a couple of guys that are red hot of late. In Svechnikov and Stutzle in the last couple of days on the show. Stutzle is plus 300 to score against Seattle. I think that's a screaming hot value. And then Svechnikov plus 140 to score against Arizona. I like that too. He's been on a nice hot streak of late for the Carolina offense. And Mark Stone plus 200. You won't see that number beside his name. Again, once he gets rolling, take advantage of it against the Devils tonight. All
right, Geoff, favorite goal prop.
Yeah, I mean, the goal props for me, you really got to target Vegas. I definitely do not mind that Stone call. I'll just say that you should even just pay up for the guy with the lowest odds, and Max Pacioretty. 6 shots on net in his last game. Mark Stone being back helps everyone, but it helps Pacioretty the most. These 2 have obviously created a ton of magic together on the first line. Again, we've got Vegas here with just a massive implied team total, well over 4 goals. I think Pacioretty is well overdue for a breakout game, and I really don't even mind the minus 105 odds. So he's probably my favorite, but I'll back that Tim Stützle call. I had him penciled in as well. I really like that one. He's been playing big minutes, a big part of their special teams. And look, they're going up against the Kraken. So I think Stützle on Ottawa, a very good goal prop to target tonight as well.